Death Note is one of those iconic manga series written by Tsugumi Oba and illustrated by Takeshi Obata. It was adapted into an anime in 2006 with just 37 episodes, and nearly every anime fan has seen it. That's why it's often called the perfect starting point for anyone stepping into the world of anime. It's not just a show, it's a statement. If you're one of those rare people who still haven't watched Death Note, what are you even doing with your life? There are people out there who don't even know what anime really is, but they've still watched Death Note. I'm sure most of you have too, and at some point, I bet you all wondered, man, I wish there was a season 2. Season 1 was brilliant. We had Light Yagami, our very own god of the new world. Opposing him, the genius Detective L. And of course, let's not forget the chaotic Misa Misa. Now, officially, there's no season 2. But what I'm about to tell you is real. There is a continuation, an official one-shot manga set in the Death Note universe. It was released in 2020, and yes, it's canon. And yes, Ryuk is back in it. This time, we have a brand new protagonist. And stepping into L's shoes, we've got Nier. Remember him? The one who ultimately caught Light? Well, now he's become the new L. The best part? This one-shot is created by the same original writer and illustrator. So sit back and enjoy. The manga begins in 2013, with a shinigami returning the Death Note to Ryuk, saying he couldn't use it properly and wants to return it. Ryuk's like, sure, I'll take my book back, but you got something for me? Of course, he just wants more apples. Just look at the panel. It's stunning. Creepy Ryuk face and all, the artwork is phenomenal. So, Ryuk heads back to the human world, muttering that he needs to find another genius like Light Yagami, someone who'll keep him entertained and well-fed with apples. Fast forward to May 2019. Ryuk literally rises from the ground into a random boy's house, looking as creepy as ever, and casually places the Death Note on the boy's head. Naturally, the kid gets flashbacks and is terrified at first. But then, the kid recognizes him. He says, "It's been 2 years, Ryuk." And Ryuk confirms, "Yep, I'm back after 2 years." And so we go 2 years back in time to where it all began. We're in a school faculty room, and teachers are discussing how a student, Minoru Tanaka, has topped the school, again. In fact, he's been topping it for the last 3 years. Some say he might be the smartest middle schooler in Japan. But there's a catch. His English scores? Just 28. Minoru is sitting on a field, thinking to himself that 28 marks in English isn't great. That's when the Death Note literally falls from the sky, landing near him. He picks it up, and behind him stands Ryuk. Minoru freaks out. A literal shinigami is right in front of him, one who looks terrifying. He starts panicking, and Ryuk's like, "Wait, aren't you supposed to be smart?" Minoru insists, "Not really. I got a 28 in English." But Ryuk says he heard from the teachers that Minoru has been topping the school for 3 years. Minoru explains that while he may not be book smart, he's been playing IQ games on his phone since childhood. He's good at solving riddles and puzzles, but he doesn't consider himself a true genius. Those are the people solving real-world problems. So Ryuk quips, "So basically, you're an idiot?" Minoru's like, No, I'm not dumb. Just not a genius. I'm good with logic and games." And Ryuk, he's literally getting in Minoru's face. "Move a little, man, you're in my space." The two go back to Minoru's home. That's where Minoru starts piecing things together, realizing this is the Death Note used by Kira. He freaks out again. Ryuk assures him, "Relax. People can't hear or see me, but they can see and hear you." Minoru asks, "Is this really the same book Kira used to kill all those people and reduce the crime rate?" Ryuk confirms. And Minoru wonders, "How do I even know so much about Kira?" Well, as it turns out, every student knows about Kira. In fact, Kira is written into their history books, in the actual textbooks. Ryuk is shocked, like, "Seriously? You treat him like a legend?" Minoru clarifies, "No, not in a good way. Kira is described as a mass murderer, a terrorist, the worst in recent history." But he also admits that there were people who did admire Kira. Then Minoru asks the big question, can someone really become a god using this book? Ryuk says, "Open it." The rules are written right there. Minoru opens it and sighs. It's in English. He groans, "Can't you translate it, please?" Ryuk, rolling his eyes, is like, "Dude, seriously? You want me to be your translator now?" Anyway, let's revisit the basic rules of the Death Note, just in case you forgot. 1. The human whose name is written in this note shall die. 2. If a person has the same name as someone else, the one whose face is in the writer's mind will die. 3. The cause of death must be written within 40 seconds. 4. If the cause of death is not specified, the person will die of a heart attack. Detailed circumstances of the death can be written within the next 6 minutes and 40 seconds. After reading the rules, Minoru realizes this is the real deal. He then asks Ryuk more about Kira and L. Ryuk agrees, only if he gets his apple first. Minoru gives him one but complains, "My mom's on an apple diet." What even is an apple diet? Do you just eat apples all day? Ryuk then shares what he remembers about Light and L. And hearing everything, Minoru becomes sure. Ryuk's telling the truth. Remember how Light used the rule? Anyone who touches the Death Note can see the shinigami? Ryuk probably mentioned that too. And Minoru, realizing how brilliantly Light used every single rule, Ryuk nods and says, "Yeah, this guy ranked among the top students in the entire nation." Then Minoru continues, "If I try to do what Light did in today's world, it just won't work. Everything Light did, those strategies, they happened 10 years ago. The world has evolved since then. Japan has changed, and so has the rest of the world." He explains that nowadays, there are CCTV cameras everywhere. Every car, every truck, almost every vehicle has dashboard cameras. He knows that he can't use the Death Note the same way Light did. It's just not practical anymore. Minoru adds, "If I try to use the internet to broadcast anything, I'll be caught immediately. Cybersecurity is too advanced now. I could be tracked down easily. Even using my own phone is risky. The police can trace that too." In his mind, he's fully aware. Using the Death Note in this age is extremely difficult. But at the same time, he thinks, if Kira were alive today, he'd still find a way to make it work. Hearing this, Ryuk leans in and says, "And you could too, right, Minoru?" By now, Minoru understands what Ryuk really wants. He wants him to become the next Kira, to use the Death Note. But Minoru doesn't want to use it, not personally. He knows that if he hands it back, he'll lose all memory of it, and ownership too. And that means Ryuk could just go give the notebook to someone else. Someone who would use it. But even so, Minoru can't ignore the power in his hands. This book, it's terrifying, he thinks. Anyone whose name is written in it will die, instantly. Minoru thinks deeply for a long time. Finally, Ryuk asks, "So, am I getting an answer today or what?" Before answering, Minoru asks Ryuk 2 questions. The first one, "Besides me, who else can see you?" Ryuk replies, "Only those who have touched my Death Note before. That includes a few detectives, and Nier, from the end of the anime." Minoru confirms this, and Ryuk adds, "If someone gives up ownership, they'll forget everything and won't be able to see me anymore. But if they've just touched the notebook, even once, they'll always be able to see me." Minoru finds this a small flaw in both Ryuk and the Death Note system. His second question, how far can a shinigami be from their new Death Note owner? Ryuk shrugs. There's no specific limit, no written rule. But if you need a number, let's say 14 kilometers. Minoru then takes a deep breath and says, "All right, I've made my decision. I'm giving you the Death Note back for now. But come back to me 2 years from today. And when you do, I'll be ready to take ownership again." He smiles and adds, "And I promise, I'll give you 1 apple every single day after that." Now, Ryuk doesn't really care about the Death Note anymore. He's like, "So what? No apples for 2 years? Big deal." But Minoru says, "Look, for now, you can give this Death Note to someone else. But after 2 years, you must return it to me. That's the promise." Ryuk agrees. "Fine. Deal's done. I'll be back in 2 years." That was the flashback. Cut to the present, Minoru suddenly remembers everything. As he stares at the Death Note, all the memories flood back. Ryuk casually pops in like, "Yo, got any apples?" Ryuk asks, "So what's your plan with the Death Note now?" Minoru replies, "I'm going to sell it." Ryuk's like, "Interesting. But didn't you say the internet's too risky?" Minoru smirks. "Exactly. I'm not using the internet. I'm going to use TV instead. And you're going to help me." First, he made Ryuk translate for him. Now he's making him assist in his little scheme. Man, poor Ryuk's just being used. Anyway, here's Minoru's plan. There's a TV station called Sakura TV, around 11 kilometers from his house. He's going to use that to broadcast his message to the entire world. Initially, Minoru tries to write the message in English, but he struggles, so he switches to Japanese. Oh, and of course, he gives Ryuk another apple. The next night, Sakura TV is airing its usual news broadcast when suddenly, a piece of paper floats into the studio, mid-air. On it, it says, "The power of Kira, the power to kill anyone from anywhere, is now up for sale through an online auction." Place your bids on Twitter using the hashtag #PowerOfKira. Bidding starts in US dollars. Everyone's shocked. Reporters, viewers, the whole nation is stunned. Kira's power is up for sale? And if you're wondering how the paper was floating, yeah, Ryuk was holding it up in the air the whole time. But before all this, Minoru had already asked Ryuk, "Who else can see you besides me?" Ryuk replied, "A few detectives. And near." Turns out one of those detectives is watching Sakura TV live. The moment he sees Ryuk, he panics, runs to his superior and says, "Ryuk is back, and he's trying to sell Kira's power." The Kira quickly tells Ryuk to hold the paper for exactly 30 seconds. And once that's done, Ryuk vanishes straight into the ground like a total boss. Say what you want, but Ryuk really is built different. The next day, Minoru's school is buzzing. Everyone's talking about the auction on Twitter, watching the bids rise. The current highest bid? 300 million yen. Now let's be real. In today's world, if someone actually tried something like this, Twitter would have gone wild. People would either troll it or join in for laughs. Honestly, even I might throw in a bid just for fun. Now let's shift to L. No, not the original L. He's long gone. The title of L is now held by Nier, who's based in the US. The detectives inform him about the situation in Japan. Meanwhile, Nier's busy creating a facial recognition system just for Ryuk. Yeah, he's trying to develop tech that can detect a shinigami through CCTV cameras. That's how serious this has gotten. The detectives brief Nier on the whole situation, and Nier names this new guy Kira, as in Auction Kira. Initially, two agents question if the whole thing is a prank, but Nier confirms it's real. "I saw the shinigami myself." He admits that this new Akira is smart. He's not using the internet, because he knows that's the easiest way to get caught. Nier then orders all CCTV footage from around Sakura TV to be collected. He wants to trace Ryuk's movements to find the new owner. He deduces one key thing. The new Kira has to be from Japan. Why? Because Ryuk has always stayed close to whoever owned the Death Note in the past. It's just how shinigami operate. They're never far from their humans. So chances are, the new owner is somewhere nearby. The agent says, "Let's quickly book tickets to Japan and go there right away." But L replies, "Even if we manage to find Akira, what crime can we actually charge him with? What exactly did he do wrong? Did he use a book? No, he's just selling a book, and selling a book is not a crime." Then L adds, "We can definitely catch the person who receives the Death Note. But Akira himself is incredibly smart, and honestly, I'd like to meet him personally." At L's request, they check all the CCTV cameras inside Sakura TV and find out that Ryuk came into the building from underground and then left the same way. So, Ryuk entered from beneath the building, underneath human homes, and it was the original Ryuk. L explains just how clever Akira really is. He says, "We can't catch Akira. We don't know where he lives or who he really is. Plus, once he sells the book and transfers ownership, all memories about the Death Note will disappear. We won't know anything. He won't even remember that he was Kira himself. It's a well-constructed plan." The agent asks, "So you're saying we can't catch Kira?" L replies, "Not right now. Our only chance is the auction winner, whoever sends the money. We can track who in Japan receives the highest payment. If that fails, we have no other clue. We'll lose. And we also need to find out who received the Death Note." Meanwhile, Minoru returns, and the auction price for the Death Note has reached 10 billion yen. Ryuk says, "There's already a lot of money coming in the auction. When will it end?" Using Ryuk again, Minoru displays a notice on Sakura TV. The auction will end in 1 week. Ryuk only needs to hold that message for 30 seconds. But since the whole world is watching, Sakura TV decides to keep the broadcast running for 30 minutes. Ryuk's presence is a big deal because the police officer knows just how terrifying Kira's power is. They don't want too much news about it, to avoid it falling into the wrong hands. His motive is clear and good, but the problem is, no one has confirmed yet if this Death Note is real or fake. Then, a news reporter asks the agent live, "Hey, you're the same guy who was involved with the previous Kira case, right?" The agent replies, "Yes, that's me." That confirms, indirectly, that this Death Note is real. The entire world now knows that the Death Note being sold online is the genuine article, meaning it has real Kira powers. Because of this confirmation, the bidding price skyrockets to 200 billion yen. School kids start thinking, no one is this rich. Whoever is planning to buy this must be some huge organization. As they talk, the auction price suddenly jumps to 300 billion yen. Minoru uses Ryuk again to show a new message on TV. Any government body wanting to buy the book should come forward live and state their price. Guess who's the first bidder? None other than Trump. Trump says, "We can't let Kira's power fall into anyone else's hands." On live telecast, the President of the United States announces they want to buy Kira's power at a price of $500 billion US. At the same time, the President of China also appears live and bids $1 trillion. Seeing this, Trump raises the bid to $2 trillion. Minoru, L, and the whole world watch this unfold with great excitement. Then, there's an even crazier bid, again from Trump. The US President places a bid of $1 quadrillion. Anyone watching this news would be going crazy thinking, how do they even have this much money? At this point, Minoru decides to end the auction. He tells Ryuk, once the money is confirmed, I'll give up ownership, and the new owner can come and take the Death Note. Ryuk doesn't really care about the Death Note. He says, so you mean I won't get any apples? I just want apples. Meanwhile, the agents ask L, how can we possibly receive such a huge amount of money? L thinks, if such a massive amount is transferred online, it'll be easy to track whose account it landed in. That's our culprit. But L also wonders if Kira is smart enough to not be that careless. And why would he even need such an enormous amount of money? He wonders what Kira plans to do with all that cash. Whatever the plan is, once the Death Note goes to someone, that person will gain immense power. Later, there's a scene where Minoru is sleeping, Ryuk is standing, and behind him appears another shinigami. The design of this shinigami is amazing, truly art. The shinigami tells Ryuk, the Shinigami King has called for you. Come with me. Ryuk asks, why? The shinigami replies, I don't know. I'm just a messenger. Then, Sakura TV announces the final verdict. The new owner of the Death Note will be Donald Trump, with the amount yet to be confirmed. Minoru will reveal the transfer details within 24 hours. Everyone now knows who the new owner will be. But L is still wondering how the money will be transferred because this is their only way to catch Kira, or rather, catch Minoru. Minoru is about to announce to the whole world how to send the money tomorrow, which is Friday. The broadcast is at 6 p.m. But there's a catch. Banks close early on Fridays, and the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, are holidays. Still, since it's such a huge amount, it will definitely show up in someone's bank account. L thinks he picked a perfect day. But it's $1 quadrillion. There's no way this will stay hidden. We'll find out whose bank account got the money. The very next day, our announcer Era drops the bomb, and even L is forced to admit defeat. Our new Kira boldly declares, all the money must be transferred before the 27th. That means before Monday. And here's the twist. The money will be equally divided among all individuals who have an account in Yotsuba Bank, are below 60 years of age. The entire nation goes into a frenzy. Everyone with an account in that bank is set to receive 1 billion yen. Hearing this, Minoru's mom rushes over and asks, you have an account there, right? Minoru confirms, and just like that, he's set to indirectly receive 1 billion yen too. Now imagine the chaos. Everyone suddenly wants a Yotsuba Bank account. But it's too late. The bank has already shut down. The money's being distributed automatically and equally, which means there's no way to trace who Kira is anymore. Even Nier reflects on the situation. I've been L for quite some time now, and this is the first time I've lost. Yes, Kira has won. The money gets deposited into the bank. But hold on, it's not accessible just yet. All accounts are frozen for 1 month before people can use the funds. Now that the money's in, it's time for Minoru to give up the Death Note, to relinquish ownership and return it to Ryuk. And the next owner? None other than Donald Trump. So Minoru hands the notebook back and tells Ryuk, don't ever come back to me again, please. Ryuk, a bit hurt, replies, wow, I didn't realize you hated me this much. Ownership transfers from Minoru to Trump. Or does it? Right before Trump can officially take ownership, Ryuk appears in front of him, since Trump touched the notebook and can now see him, and says, before you accept ownership, there's a new rule you should know, just added recently. Here's the twist. Anyone who tries to buy or sell the Death Note will die, both the buyer and the seller. Trump is stunned. This is insane, he exclaims. Ryuk shrugs. Yeah, the king of Shinigami made me add it just now. He continues. If you accept the notebook now, you'll die. But even if you don't, someone in a higher authority could still use it. So what's the plan? Trump, clearly shaken, declines ownership. But before Ryuk leaves, he throws a jab. So, your own life is more important to you than your country, huh? Trump, being Trump, has a backup plan. He smirks and says, I may not have the notebook, but I'll tell the world that I do. I'll claim I have that power. Even without owning it, he plans to act like he does. Classic Trump move. Now Ryuk is stuck. Trump won't take the notebook. Minoru told him never to come back. So what now? 1 month later. Everyone finally gets access to their money. People are buying houses, cars, celebrating like never before. And at that exact moment, Minoru dies. We see Ryuk writing his name in the death note, right beneath Light Yagami's. And Ryuk? He doesn't even flinch. He's dead. Now I gotta find someone else to give me apples, he mutters. And just like that, the Death Note one-shot manga ends.